July 11th, 2011. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, show 109.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go!
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
Is this really 109?
109.
Oh, it is 109. Okay.
Yeah.
109?
That's what the 109 means. I learned that today.
Oh, wow. You must be in the advanced
Well,
math
I was
class.
briefly concerned that perhaps I didn't have the right file name, but I did.
Cool story, bro.
Well, and, since we can't rename files, we'd be sunk.
We'd
for
be
sure.
fucked.
Okay, so welcome back to Diehard Roboche Radio. And
it's kind of useless to do a Roboche on a podcast.
Fucked.
I could be doing it now, and you wouldn't know.
Well, we would need a camera to start out with. That's a kind of an essential ingredient for the Roboche.
Yes.
And you should rename yourself to
Mike
Roboche.
Michael Roboche.
Michael
Roboche.
J. Roboche.
Yeah.
All right,
Let me get right
Thanks
on
for
that.
joining us at Rhyme Time.
So, with us today, we have Mike Robison, who makes his
That's Jay
128th
Roboche.
appearance here for Diehard Gamer Radio.
I thought it was only like 95th.
Quiet you.
It's okay, he's French.
I want only 95.
We have Brian Skinny Boy Jones.
Number one for you, monsieur.
I don't know what that is. And we welcome back Steve, our audio engineer.
Welcome back.
Yes.
He's
Steve.
a better audio engineer than we are.
Well, he knows what he's doing.
I have
We're gonna call you
audio
Kata.
equipment, which really puts me on
yeah.
the smallest step above people that don't have audio.
equipment.
Hey, Mr. Carter, welcome back.
You would get to the next level once you have a copy of Pro Tools, right?
I do have do I have a copy of Pro Tools LE? No, I have a copy of Logic Express, which is kind of the same, but not really.
Totally
Just
different.
Get to BitTorrenting then.
You know how big a torrent of Logic Pro is?
No.
Or
It's
not Logic
huge.
Pro, Pro Tools? It's huge.
Yeah.
Does it come in parts?
Yeah.
You're better off, torrenting the Jane simulators. It's probably easier to use than Pro Tools.
Why would you ever do that?
Because I want to spend 6 hours learning how to launch my helicopter.
Yeah. I think I'd rather drive nails into my thumb.
Yeah.
So, do we have
It
anything?
will be faster.
Yeah, it would be, definitely. You get to the pain
and it won't
quicker.
crash as much as Pro Tools.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, do we have anything else to share before we get on with the news?
I have a Big Daddy burger from Good Times.
Oh. And
Is
would
that
you?
sponsored by GoDaddy?
I made myself a cheeseburger omelet with leftover hamburger patties from Labor Day.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just ate a shitload of garbanzos. It was really good.
Of the actual bean, or
Yeah, he just ate a big bowl of beans.
He just
Yeah.
popped open a can of beans.
we got to finish this shit fast because I don't know how long it can hold out.
It's like
it's like a timer. We have to cut the red or the blue wire.
It's like what the fuck
You're
movie
closest
was
to
that?
the toilet. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just make sure to take off the headphones first.
You
Which
cut the
was-
wrong wire, I may be neutered.
What the fuck movie was that? Which one was the one that had John Carradine in it and
Red Zone Cuba.
Red Zone Cuba? That movie is all about beans
Yeah,
and
beans
and
Coleman Francis's private area.
yeah,
Oh,
beans,
geez.
buffalo shots, and John Carradine.
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought
Night
it was
train,
Outlaw with the
basketball
buffalo
game.
shots.
Run up the bleachers.
Yeah.
All right, first
Night train
first
on the basketball
news.
game.
Capcom dick move. They made save games permanent. So
Yeah,
Resident
but they
Evil,
said they wouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
So this was for Resident Evil,
They
the
said,
Mercenaries
oops.
3D.
Oops.
Oops.
well, I think that they. I don't know what they were thinking. I think they.
I don't think they were thinking.
I get the impression that somebody had thought that this would be like, well, what we're trying to do is make sure that these save games don't accidentally get erased. And then they put it out,
it's
and
Resident Evil. Who the fuck cares?
Well,
somebody probably misread it and then said, "Oh, they're trying to screw us over."
No, it's like they didn't think it all the way through or something like that when they did the feature, because they're like, "Oh yeah, that was probably a bad idea. Never mind about that." You know, it's not like they're saying in order to keep from piracy from going on. They're not pulling that line. They're just like,
but you've been seeing this a lot lately, not just from Capcom, but from other companies where they say they're going to do something, and then suddenly there's a bunch of bad press about it. The blogs go wild and blah blah blah, and like a week later, maybe 2 weeks, they're like, "Oh, we're sorry, we didn't know it was going to do that."
Well, I'm not sure that's I'm not sure that's so much a function of video game companies doing differently than blogs existing.
Yeah, before
that, people would just complain in their rooms.
Yeah, they had no central area.
There was no way,
I need to buy a memory
journal came along.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to buy a memory card to save.
That nobody paid attention to
wear ties.
Yeah.
Plumbers don't wear ties.
Yeah.
How many people visit the local BBS? Well, not enough to make a difference.
Well, not general, general non-technical users.
They're complaining to a listserv, and
these are people that bought Resident Evil. I mean, we're not talking hardcore gamers.
There's like the first following for Resident Evil.
I had two initial thoughts when I read this. The first was, I don't care because Capcom hasn't made a game I wanted to play in 10 years. And then the second thought was, why don't they put this technology into the game so that we can eliminate things like save points that have been obsolete for 10 years? I mean,
why the hell do we have to get to a point to save? PC games outlawed that years ago.
Why do I have to go to the toilet or take an ink ribbon to a typewriter to save still? It's ridiculous. Yeah. But they'll make it so that your save games are perpetual. I mean, fucking.
Well, you have to do that sort of thing to crank up the playable hours.
Crank up the playable hours.
Yeah, crank up the playable hours, because there's so many people that are like, well, how many playable hours are in this game? It depends on when I'm gonna buy it, and you crank it up higher, people are more likely to think it's worth their while to pay $60 for it.
Oh, like if you can truthfully brag, you'll get 60
like an old
hours
RPG.
Yeah, the JRPGs. Yeah, I got 300 hours of gameplay at a Dragon Warrior because I was too busy driving nails into my head to play.
Yeah, it was 5 hours of fucking video, full motion video where you don't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, Sewer Shark.
Oh, Phantasmagoria.
Well, I was thinking like Final Fantasy.
Hey, you want to moderate this discussion here? It doesn't require me to say it. Then I'm moderating. You have to say it.
Well, I was just.
Why don't you moderate, Steve?
Well, because I'm already doing something. I mean, otherwise it turns into my podcast.
Well, you could take over the podcast.
Because that's something I need.
Yeah, because Steve
will I'll bring the weapons and I'll support you.
Oh, good.
We'll take over this podcast.
Can you bring some turbans and some sunglasses?
Yeah. And like a balaclava. We're taking over this podcast, Mr. Murdock.
Balaclava. Now that's that Greek pastry, right?
Yes. You put those on your head.
Yeah,
that's what you put on your head.
It goes into the tortilla that you eat.
You have to put those on your head in order to have a revolution. There's just a bunch of people running around with pastries on their heads.
We have to remember to end our demonstration with Gaddafi will return soon.
Oh yeah,
to the grounds of Libya.
Well, don't we support him?
Well,
we used to.
We used to.
So moving on, there's other games that use this technology. Super Monkey Ball 3D.
Don't care.
What about Pro Evolution Soccer 2011?
Don't care.
There may be people who've opened up like every team and every player and decide that they want to erase it all and start from the beginning. Don't you care about those people?
So,
no. I think, as a matter of fact, we ought to sterilize them.
You think this is maybe a function of technology? Maybe it's like what do the So the 3DS still comes on little cartridge things, right?
Correct.
Oh, so, for Christ's sake. Are you kidding? Seriously?
Well, how are they going to do save games otherwise?
You know how much memory they can store in those little cards now?
Yeah, it's a huge amount.
Well, but
that's basically what it is.
But here's the thing. Okay, so is it because they're being cheap? They're doing non-erasable flash memory?
No, I don't think it's anything to do with cheapness.
I think it's a side effect of something else they were doing. I don't think it was intended.
Well,
I think it happened on accident, and they were like, well, let's just roll with it and see if we can make it.
Well, yeah, I don't think this is the whole story to this. I think there's something else going on.
Because the Legend of
Blaze
Zelda...
Blue does it too? Oh, wow.
But Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time came out on the 3DS It's got save games.
First party game.
Them. Yeah, first party game.
That's what I mean. First party game.
Well,
so they didn't cheap out on the hardware for the cartridge.
Well,
I'm sensing there's something else going on here. I think.
The game's afoot.
I say, Watson.
I can't imagine it being that expensive to add a save system.
Dude,
to
you know
a
how
game.
if you're making 600,000 games and you save 5 cents, that's a crap ton of money that goes to your bottom line.
And Nintendo still probably wants like $800,000
for your license.
For the Nintendo seal of approval.
Yeah.
Speaking of oddball things, I was up in Blackhawk yesterday, and I noticed one of the slot machines was made by Konami.
Was it that greatest one?
No. This is a totally new type of slot machine that uses some sort of 3D interface. It's actually got this. Well, it's not an interface, but it's
so 3D you can reach up and grab the handle and pull on it.
No, they're getting away from all the handles. But the cool thing was the screen
handle.
Handles are casual.
Arnold Schwarzenegger arm on my right arm. And
the handles are kept for the casual gamers, not for the hardcore slot players.
Damn it.
Well, it's going to burn out the casual ones because they're going to weaken their arms after like 5
So
balls.
that's why you got the monkey arm guy who's got like one huge arm and one little arm.
So what were you saying, Brian?
It was some sort of new slot machine that's got this built-in 3D. It literally is a cube with screens on it. And when you
it's a television screen?
Well, yeah, all the new slot machines have LCDs built into them, and they actually have, some of them have 3D screens where there's a screen on the screen that has things happen in front of you, and then the slot machine is the screen behind it, so that there's this 3D action that's happening while the game's going on. But the cool thing about this one was it's the first of its kind that's actually had a built-in 3D
Sounds
cube.
Like some kind of evil subliminal slot machine.
Quiet you. It has a 3D cube, and when you do certain things, it stops the game, it spins to the next face. It's like fucking Transformers and shit.
It's Manny faces.
Like 3 faces on there. It's cool, though. I mean, it was a cool idea for the game. It just, the slot machine itself sucks.
But
the concept was really cool, and I looked down at the bottom, and I was like, Konami, are you kidding me?
Is it that same 3D technology that they use for the 3DS, that parallax barrier technology?
No, it's nothing quite that complex, but it's cool that there is a built-in cube inside of it. Most of the games are just, I would say 99% of all slot machine games are just an LCD.
Insert your coin, you have 20 seconds to comply.
Sometimes you have faces on top of the face where there's different levels of screens. But it's cool the way it interacts with the game. This one had a physical inside the game cube. You could see
I'll need to
inside.
check that out because it
seems like very
Konami does a lot of stuff. I mean, they have their fingers in a lot of pies.
Weird.
Well, I could see them doing stuff like Pachislo or Pachinko, so this wasn't that far of a jump, but it just was weird to see them all of a sudden and not see anything prior to this. I thought I would have saw some of their name on something in the past.
Trying to get their ass into the American gambling market instead of just the Japanese market.
It's possible, because there's a lot of cool stuff out there. I played the AVP game when I was there yesterday, or the Alien. It was just Aliens, rather, but it's an older slot machine that's always been fun to play. They've had Ninja Gaiden up there. I've played,
what, the slot machine?
Yeah.
What?
There's a Ninja Gaiden
dude.
Yeah, you could never win.
I pulled
it's so hard you could never win.
No, I actually pulled $500 out of that one. It was pretty awesome.
The fates must have been kind to you. So let's move on to the next.
He was playing in monkey mode. He lost 1,000 before, and it dropped him down to monkey mode.
That's not very nice.
So next up, I guess we need to talk about this a little, that whole SCOTUS video game law thing.
Why?
Do we have anything to say on that?
Wasn't it predictable?
Yes.
They always
every single one of them, every single one of these laws has ever been struck down. It was like
the problem was Brown made this thing so generalized. It was so broad that
there
was no possible way that it was going to pass.
Yeah.
So that's enough of that.
It was a given. But the cool thing about this that we should talk about is the fact that it actually finally gives rights to games. It gives First Amendment classification. No. They never had a classification prior to this. All they had was the basic protection under the law saying, yeah, if this game is above 18 plus or over, or 21 or over, whatever, you couldn't sell it as a retailer. You would get in trouble.
But so now it's got First Amendment rights.
Yeah, now it actually has rights, so they can't specifically go after it like they did with this case specifically and try and nail it, because now it's classified as a First Amendment.
Not necessarily the case, because they did leave open in the opinions that they would entertain a more narrowly tailored law.
Well, yeah, but how many things have they done that with, though? I mean, that's
Nothing's
not specific.
Been narrowly tailored.
I don't think it's that just specific to games, though. I'm just saying that gives them some sort of a classification. Games never had that before.
Well, it has more weighty precedent than it has before.
Yeah, and it gives the entertainment industry, was it the EMS, the Entertainment Merchants Association?
ESRB.
EMA.
ESRB.
No, EMA, the Entertainment Merchants Association, which is what it was Brown versus EMA for this specific case, but it gives them some sort of protection, so that's kind of cool. I think it's a good all around for us, for the industry in general.
So basically, the next law that'll come out on the books will be, we'll just ban anything that has the words grand and theft in it.
Well, I'm sure they'll keep pushing for stupid things until they get something to pass, but it's just going to waste more of California's money.
Well, California doesn't have any money.
Exactly.
So
this is true. They put IOUs to all the lawyers.
They have less money than Greece. So moving on.
What does John Travolta have to do with this?
No.
Coming back to Welcome Back, Carter.
Yeah.
Team Fortress 2 is free to play.
Don't care.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. How old is Team Fortress?
Team Fortress 2.
Team Fortress 2. How old?
It's like a year old, isn't it?
3 years old.
It's 4.
I thought it was older than like 4 or 5.
Yeah, because I bought the orange box over 3 years ago. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's an active development though, so.
It gets patched. I turn my Steam on. Shit is patched like 2 and 3 times a week because it's that popular. So they're doing something
Steve,
right.
do you have any interest in it now that it's free?
No.
Well, that'll make an exciting story, won't it?
I'm back to the iMac now again, so I can't play it anymore.
Wow.
Steam is on the Mac?
Yeah, but not all the games that are on Steam.
Team Fortress
are
is on Mac.
Actually,
Team
I was
Fortress 2 is
looking.
on
There's
Mac.
a disappointing number of games on the Mac through Steam. It's very disappointing.
It is very disappointing, and also the iMacs, unless you've got the really high-end one, has some pretty shitty video cards in it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Like the
No,
one.
it's not intended for gaming.
Like the one you sold me. Or?
You know, you get a GT 120 or something like that.
Proletariat who plays games.
You have to actually get a Mac Pro in order to put in another
gamers,
video card in there.
They can go eat cake for a weekend.
I would have thought a higher end video card would be better for things like the illustrations and the.
They want you to buy a Mac Pro for that. The iMacs are considered basically elaborate appliances.
Elaborate appliance.
Well, because it's like you want more than the Mac Mini, but you don't want to pay for a Mac Pro.
I
so
don't
they
want
put
to
you in
pay
the
for a
middle.
Mac Pro anyway.
You in the hypothetical sense.
Oh, me in a general,
Yes.
not a general sense, not in the specific sense.
Yes.
Me actually, as a person,
as a human being.
So next up,
I'm glad that they disregard my personhood. In such a way.
Well, I do too.
Guys.
You're a person.
Yes, I am.
All right,
And
so
I act in the world with conscious purpose.
all right. So moving
Most of
on,
the time.
World of Warcraft goes free to play until characters hit level 20,
Don't
which
care.
Which takes you all of a day.
Yeah, it's.
Does it really?
It's literally
Day and a half, 2 days. Depends on if you know like the predetermined paths for the optimal quests, which aren't that hard because before 20, there's not that many quests.
Yeah, and they've lowered the requirements,
Especially
to level up
Burning
to
Crusade.
such an extent that
The newer quests for the newer races that were introduced in Burning Crusade way in hell back in the day, were if you were playing like what's the name of the blue dudes? What are the name of the blue dudes?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
The Blue Man Group.
The blue dudes.
blue
It's basically a story that takes you through 1 to 20, and you can do it in a day or two.
Yeah,
So.
even before then, I was an orc and I made it to level 10 in an evening.
Yeah.
It's not very substantive.
Yeah. There's not.
Come on, you have to care about this game.
Well,
that's true. Brian brings up a good point: is that you actually have to care about WoW as well.
Yeah.
Although, from what I hear, they have eliminated a lot of things that made me not want to subscribe to the game, such as endless grind for bullshit, stupid crap.
Well, as long as for the Alliance.
Is that all MMOs?
Nah, there's some that are way worse than others.
For a lot of
Aeon is like the worst of the worst.
For a lot of the MMOs, for Alliance, the worst part was going between 30 and 50 because you had to run through Stranglevale.
Yeah.
And oh my god, it was such a horrible grind.
Made me want to kill myself.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I never. They
decreased a lot of that. Yeah, I got to 50 and got past that, but that's when I kind of quit.
I got to.
But it was such a horrible mid-game grind for that game. For the Alliance, it was absolutely ridiculous. And if you were playing on a PvP server,
oh god,
that's when all the
dickheads would
wander in and start killing people that are around 40 to 50 in Stranglehold.
When they get bored,
Stranglehold
like,
Veil,
let me see if
Strangleveil
I
Hold,
can,
or whatever.
like the rogues that stealth behind you.
Is this John Wooland?
One of the two, yeah.
Stranglehold in WoW.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I have never had the slightest inkling of interest in WoW. I've tried, but I just don't care.
It, but it's like
Well, the main problem is that for me is that the end game is something I just don't care about. I don't care about rating.
Yeah.
Once the whole game became about killing
Raids,
time until you got to rating in the end game, then I didn't care anymore.
And then the rating is only just to get gear so that you be better at rating.
Well, yeah, you spend 80 levels to get to the part that's actually the focus of the game.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever.
I think it was the same for me with like Tribes. With Tribes was only fun when you played it as a group and you had a clan that was going in and playing the game together.
Well, yeah, you couldn't
go
play...
in and raid or drop in on an enemy and you did it as a group, but yeah, individually it just was kind of boring.
Tribes really wasn't designed to be an individual game anyway. So.
Yeah, you couldn't go in there individually. It just was...
Well, Mike's waiting
Murdock.
for Jumpgate Evolution.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or Huxley.
That fucking
Huxley.
game.
Who's Huxley? Who is
I just feel bad for the guy that I saw that made that whole enclosure that looked like an X-Wing nose for Jumpgate Evolution.
Wow. You're kidding,
really?
Seriously?
No, this was like 2 years ago.
Oh, someone needs a hug. I mean, really.
Was it? Well, didn't we have?
Huxley
Didn't we have
so cool too. I was.
Didn't we have
forward
clowns
to that.
like that at EB that would like
did.
make enclosures out of like F-11 18 Raptor or something like that?
Yeah, but those games came out.
The Janes crowd.
That was
slight
back,
difference.
That was back when the day when people made release dates and then actually met them.
They were
well,
they were met in a general sense.
I mean, other than
there was a guarantee it was coming out. Yeah, it wasn't going to get.
Well, except for like the Godzilla, the American Godzilla game, that never came out.
I'm kind of glad that didn't make it.
Robotech 64 never came out here.
Well, weren't there people like making bunkers with computer screens for like all the Civil War games? They want their own bunker in their backyard.
I don't know if there was a bunker for the Civil War games, but we had quite a few people who would manufacture cockpits and shit for the the helicopter and the Janes. I'm like, dude, really?
Yep.
Hey, everybody needs a hobby.
I know. I would imagine I'd rather have people like that in their basement than out in the world.
So next up, Dancing Eyes, announced for PS3. This is the game where you control a monkey.
This was the first one I cared about.
And you strip a woman's clothes, and it's on the PlayStation Move.
Well, I don't have a Move, so I'll have to use my controller.
It's not as good as that.
Do they have bounce physics, like when you boing?
As far as I know.
Awesome.
It's not as good as that Kinect prototype where like the girl, you like get closer and she kind of looks at you and you go back.
What?
You didn't see that? I'll show you that later. It's
got
pretty
it.
funny.
Yeah.
That sounds...
Yeah.
So I'm sure. And the nice thing is
funny.
that the PS3 region free, so you can just
I could just buy a Japanese copy.
And you could probably get a Move controller used right now too, because they're not exactly super popular. So
$5.
Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of people burned out that bought it and was like, "What the hell did I just waste my money?"
I can wave a thing that has a big round end at the screen and strip girls off with a little monkey.
Yeah, you could be like
This is sounding a little.
You could be like a really fat, wanted Harry Potter.
And Mike, wait until the DLC.
That could be awesome. Download more girls to.
Downloadable clothing.
Oh, I don't.
Well, you're gonna pull it off anyways, but you need something new to pull off, right?
So
isn't it just like Quicks? You just kind of like fill in the things.
Kind of, sort of. There's a video online if you want to check it out.
I'll get on it someday.
So next up.
God, I haven't played Kicks in forever.
Theatrhythm, which is Final Fantasy rhythm game. Wait, what?
Your mama.
Is it too early to kill myself?
They got rhythm games for everything now.
Yeah, but it's like... Well, they take the actual canon Final Fantasy storyline and they're like, well...
There is none.
Well, between like, this realm of chaos and this realm of... order, there's like this realm, and
I'm not talking about the last game. It was
you have to use rhythm to save it or something.
They have rhythm games for everything now. Every franchise that happens, there's a rhythm game for it.
How can you make a rhythm game out of a game that's not a game? It's just a movie with like little.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's a rhythm movie.
What they've made a rhythm game with Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah. There you go.
No, I'm sure that's next.
But
it can't be that far down the chalkboard.
Who's the guy who makes those? Who's like
Kojima?
Didn't they put him in an insane asylum? That's why there's no more. There's no more games coming out.
Oh, didn't he take off? Doesn't he have his own studio now?
Yeah,
no, he's in like.
Straight
asylum.
No, he's not.
You're thinking of Shiro, whose brain is running Tokyo.
Well, yeah, that's but he's not insane. His brain is actually in.
He might be. Have you seen Tokyo?
Well, it's fucked up, but it was
fucked
up
Futurama.
Way before he got it.
All the ex-presidents got their heads in a bottle. They're
it's
still
like
able
Futurama.
to speak.
Except for they make them out of like crazy game designers, weird anime people.
These are the games of the future.
That's all of them?
By the heads of the past.
Yeah.
So Far Cry 3 is coming out. It's supposed to be 10 times the scale of Far Cry 2. That may just be the system requirements. We don't know.
Hey, Far Cry is a good game. Those are fun games.
So you get to creep 10 times longer. Not exactly a running... I don't know about Far Cry 2, but Far Cry 1 wasn't exactly a running gun game.
That was a big freaking map for
one guy. The thing that really struck me about Far Cry is how every enemy had, like, eyesight that was like 5 kilometers long, and they could just
that's Ghost Recon
on you.
Yeah.
Fucking Ghost
so it's
Recon.
Like now it's like they can
fire around corners and shit.
12,000 miles.
I can tell you that it wasn't
like
nearly as fun on the consoles as it was on the PC.
Yeah, the PC
Wasn't
was
that
a
the
much
one that
better
like
version.
blew up your Dell? We were like playing it one time, and it was like you had to pop the thing off because it kept heating up the video card.
No,
that was kept like because it would have to like tune down.
That was on the laptop.
That sucked. Yeah, I was like
because they didn't cool it properly. No, that wasn't Far Cry. That was something else.
I
can't remember what it was.
That was Far Cry.
It was The Sims.
Hey, The Sims. Steve, were you playing The Sims?
No, I didn't play The Sims on that. I played
the
Eve on
Barbie
that.
Pony game.
Played on Eve on that, and I could never tell if it was the system lagging or if it was Eve lagging.
Eve lagging. Well, it is tough to tell sometimes.
That thing about did you read that thing about time dilation that they did now?
Yeah, I just
it's
read
really
that.
interesting. Is how they're gonna try and it's an experimental way that they're gonna try and handle lag in large battles, fleet battles. Is they're actually gonna slow down time.
What?
That way it gets everybody up to speed.
It lets them manage the queues better.
Yeah.
So they'll slow down game time in that system, and then they'll catch you up when you leave the system.
Oh, that might work.
No, it's a really cool concept. You got to read the article. It was
the
actually
articles,
pretty interesting.
They've thought it out pretty well. It's like
they've
that's
been
a pretty
thinking about this
interesting
for a couple of years. I mean, it's been in heavy planning.
But it would involve me caring about Eve again.
Well, it would, but in a theoretical sense.
I mean,
I
really love that game, they treated me like a bitch.
They just released another
article
talking about.
Treated me like a fucking bitch.
I was like,
so did it treat you like a bitch?
It touched me in an inappropriate way.
Right. That's good. That's all right.
Made me wear the GIMP mask. It was terrible.
Shut up.
No,
right,
nobody cares you're touched. Okay.
That's not the Photoshop.
That really hurts my feelings.
I just read an article about Dust 514 where they're going to force people to pay $20 off the bat.
What?
And you get all the money back in the game, but it forces you to create a credits, so you have credits in game, but you don't spend anything beyond that $20.
So you just buy into the game for $20 and then that's it?
That's what it is. Yeah,
you
I think. Well, you have to buy the
years?
game too, I'm sure, because it's Dust 514 is the PS3 game that works with Eve online.
Oh, okay. Oh.
But you need to be able to buy these credits so that you can use them right off the bat. So you do this initially, but you get the credits all back in the game. So you get the equivalent of what you spent to get it all back in the game. And
so
then
you
that gets
spend real money to get phony money?
Huh.
But it's a one-time charge. They say you don't do it afterwards, and the stuff that you're going to get is supposed to be usable. And
it's kind of...
It's interesting. I'm going to wait to see what happens with it because I'm curious about the game, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. It looks really cool, but I want to see how it's going to work with Eve.
Is that the one where they have you outside of the ships and you're doing like bounty hunting and shit like that?
Eve is in space, but Eve is the people in Eve, the spaceships, the corporations, the conglomerates are buying you mercenaries on the ground to go in and invade planets and take over territory for them. So. It's kind of like a Tribes in a way, which is kind of what got me interested in it. I'm curious to see how it's going to work, but I'm not going to buy it right off the bat.
I don't understand why they would. I mean, they could use that logic for Eve proper too, but you never have to buy into Eve proper. So
I have to subscribe.
I want to see what this is going to get. If the stuff that you get in game is going to be that important, or it's going to serve a purpose, I can see doing it. But otherwise, I don't.
Well, then everybody
if it's just getting skins or colors or whatever.
I don't know.
But if it actually gives you choices of what you get to buy and upgrade and what you benefit from in the game, gives you a boost in the beginning. If everybody has to do that, I could see that. Well, part of the reason they're doing it too, from what I read in the article, was that they're looking
instant inflation in the game.
Well, no. The money they're using the money up front to help pay for servers and things and whatnot too. But it's a one-time thing for them on their end, so they're helping finance the whole thing by getting you to pay a one-time charge.
No, I was thinking like in game, like you go spend your money and now instantly everyone has some money. Like, oh, now my pulse rifles.
Creating a market in there, kind of like Eve does.
Yeah, and now there's 5,000.
Well, but inflation's a problem with MMOs all the time anyway, so that's nothing new.
I don't think that's going to have a big effect.
I'm dismissing you.
Oh, fuck.
All right, so
Mr.
next...
Touched.
So you want to moderate over here?
So next up,
No.
Gaikai is a thing now. What's a cloud-based...
What is Gaikai?
It's a cloud-based gaming service that allows users to play demos of major PC games and applications instantly from a web page or internet-connected device.
No, it isn't. It's an internet insurance company.
No.
Gaikai.
Wasn't this like what the fuck was that game that system that came out like a year ago?
Oh, you mean OnLive?
Yeah.
This sounds like a bad idea. Yeah.
Well, figure the Japanese to change a cloud idea to an ocean.
Well, it's actually an American guy with the Japanese named thing.
Is there anyone who uses the OnLive at all? Do we have a single user?
I don't know how OnLive went. It kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Well, let's just say that they're still having latency problems.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Oh, shit, really?
When you hear of OnLive, I think of OnStar.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a game thing.
Help me! I don't know where I am!
Help me, my game sucks.
Yeah, so, help me, Spock! I don't know where I am!
I just go there.
So PS4 rumored to be delivered by the end of 2012, which is good news for...
Yeah, and I remember Gran Turismo 5 was going to be out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who made Gran Turismo 5? Sony?
It's Sony. It's Polyphony Digital is the developer.
Are you saying that perhaps we might not see a PlayStation 4? By 2012?
Well, it's just like that commercial where they had like the PlayStation 9 and it was like nodules that went up your nose and shit.
All the way the 2 years prior because they want to get some sort of...
They're trying to make...
They want to drum up interest and get people, it's coming out next year, blah, blah, blah. They're going to keep releasing bits of shit, but it probably won't be out till 2013.
I'd care if I thought Sony knew what I wanted in a video game system.
Well, we can guarantee this. If you want multiple SKUs for the same system...
Badass. I'm sold. Yeah. I'm sold.
So, by the way, the PS Vita, the new portable system, $249.
What?
$249.
Well, it's $249 and it's $299. $249 is only Wi-Fi. $299 is 3G plus Wi-Fi. I'm happy with just the Wi-Fi. Honestly, I don't care about the 3G. You're probably not going to get any benefit from that anyways. I don't see it as being super useful, but
I don't care.
I think, and everybody's getting Wi-Fi now anyways. I see Wi-Fi hotspots popping up all over the place. As long as I'm not downloading some sort of fucking virus every time I get on a Wi-Fi network, I'm fine with that.
Well, you know what's interesting is having the Wi-Fi up while it's searching for Wi-Fi networks and while you're in your car and looking at all the names of the Wi-Fi networks.
That is entertaining, I must admit. And I'm amazed at how many people have the defaults. I'm like, fucking really? Seriously? Yeah. I mean, I would expect for like 10%, but it's like 90%.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on...
I'm like, there's that many dumbass... I mean...
Not only that, but you see like, oh, maybe I can join on to, dog monkey fucker. Oh, let's see what this...
That actually, because anyone who would name their SSID dog monkey fucker is obviously going to change the password too. It's like, it says HP setup. Oh, I wonder if the username's admin and the password is password. It's like, Jesus Christ. Are you fucking kidding?
There's a lot of people out there that don't even know how to set a password on there. So I'm a
dumbass and I figured it out. How is this possible?
Mine's more complicated. I thought I'd set it up correctly and it didn't go through, so it just shows up as wireless. But my password's on there at least. So I was like, well, I don't care. If my password's on there, that's fine with me. I know what it is. So.
Yeah, well, if you can't get into it,
at least it's password protected. So
it's kind of like a Wi-Fi that's not really doing all it could.
Yeah. So, next up, Hitman Absolution is a thing now, which would interest Mike, because Mike's a big Hitman fan.
I owned a Hitman game at one point.
Well, that makes you more of a fan than either of us.
Really? I saw the movie.
No, I'm
totally blew, but it's too bad because I really like him. He's a good actor. I just think that was a shitty movie, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was terrible. And the game is like, it would be an excellent game if they would have some kind of like
programming.
Well, no, just like you finish a level and then you get like some kind of weapon, but it never feels like you're building up a character. You're just kind of going from level.
You need some sort of more like RPG element or something where you're gaining kind of skills.
Otherwise, it's like whatever.
Well, yeah, I'm just going through killing guys. Ooh, I got a new weapon and I'm killing guys.
Yeah, and
la-di-da.
You can't. Oh, you can pick this one or that one. Oh.
And
I don't even. I just remember like losing interest in it very, very quickly.
So you buying Hitman was not the reason why you decided to become bald, right? You didn't want to have like a barcode on your head.
Bald. Mother Nature decided that. Actually, I could get a tattoo of a barcode on my head if I chose to.
Do you want to?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I think that would be creepy. Although, if I could get like a barcode that have my name and social security number.
Well, like one of those QR codes.
No, barcodes are old school. Yeah, you need a QR code or one of those triangle codes on the back.
Oh, you mean like the tripods?
I'll keep this in mind.
The tags.
Martian tripods.
No, the tag codes.
The tag codes.
Yeah, that's what they call them.
Tag body spray codes?
No. They're little triangles that come in like black, yellow, and orange, and they have different triangular patterns. It's another kind of QR code, but they call them tag codes.
So it's like a Fallout symbol?
Sure.
Is it? Oh no, it's like those OSHA symbols where it has like flammability and caustic and.
You should have that on the back of your head. Well, let's see. He's got an oxidation level of 2.
Yeah.
It's Microsoft's version of a QR code. They call them tag readers.
All right. So next up, Games for Windows Marketplace merging with Xbox.com.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But Games for Windows didn't work.
Well,
that's why they're merging it with Xbox.com.
I actually did buy a game on there. I got a 360 game on there, super cheap. But yeah, it doesn't make sense to have two different sites. They should basically be the same site, and you just get to choose where on the site you go.
Oh, and addendum to that, Windows 8
it never works.
Is allegedly supposed to allow you to play Xbox games on your PC.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
That would be not a very good thing to do, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, the 360 isn't a very powerful machine, so in theory you could do that.
If it was a PS3, I could
that?
see the benefit of that, but yeah, 360 is not going to benefit from it.
Well, the PS3 just doesn't have any games that are worth playing.
No, but I'm saying it has the processing power, and it can connect. That's which is going back to EVE Online. That's where the PC to console connect's going to work.
See,
assuming it all goes together.
I don't understand the PlayStation 3. It's so fucking slow compared to the Xbox. It's such a better system hardware.
The PS3.
How did they manage that?
Well, because they made it hard to develop for.
Oh.
You got to look at the PS3.
It's like the Jaguar.
The PS3 was designed
by. It's just like the Jaguar.
The PS3 was designed by console designers, console architects. The Xbox was designed by PC people that know how to make the PC end work. So your downloads and your uploads on that work like magic because these people have been doing this shit for years. Well, PS3 on the other hand is backwards and it doesn't know how to connect that way.
The same damn game on both systems. It is so much slower on the PS3.
It's always been that case though, all the way back to the PS1. It took years before third parties could get a handle on the programming for it to make games for it because it's so fucking complex.
The PlayStation SDKs have always been notoriously difficult to use. And it's not until the end of the system life before people actually, know what they're doing. Versus the Xbox and the 360 that have good APIs and good SDKs, and they don't make the architecture really complicated for the hell of it.
Yeah, the PS2 wasn't popular for a good 2 to 3 years after because people were all starting to figure out how to use it, and then you saw a buttload of games come out for it.
Yeah, and it's happening with the PlayStation.
It's Sony. Sony always makes things more complex than they need to.
Or the very user-friendly Nintendo SDKs, which are like, "Hi, you want to make a program? Let me help you."
Like, they add all this, you fool.
They add all this proprietary bullshit because they want something unique to themselves. Where if it actually takes off, you pay Sony for the money.
Well, yeah,
it's like Blu-ray.
It's still, they make stuff more complex than it needs to be because they're trying to get an angle on it. And it's like, fuck, just make something, make it good, and people will buy it.
Every time I hear about something of Sony failing, all I think about is the mini disc player. Yeah. It always goes back to that.
Man, you don't even need to think that far. Just
UMD.
How do they fail so much?
Well, that mini disc player
they try
when
to
it
make
came
things
out,
too complex. They're always trying to get an angle on something.
The mini disc player when it came out was $600, and the discs
it was
were
ridiculous.
like $20 a pop. And I'm like,
I had an MD recorder actually, and it's not good.
They're great for audio, but Jesus,
nobody really used them for. Nobody seriously used them for radio.
I know.
I can't. It's like we figured out that's fucked up with the 3DO. Didn't we figure that out? No, I guess
no. Sony hasn't learned that lesson in like 30 years.
Now.
3DO was
they'll continue just doing it. They'll get it from they'll get money from their parent company.
Yeah, that's the problem with Sony is they're so huge. They just shift the money back and forth from who's making it to who's not.
Because it's like Sony for like one of the larger electrical contractors.
Sony Computer Entertainment can fail for the rest of eternity, and they'll just get more money from their Sony
They're
parent
like
company.
the Charles Foster Kane of video games.
Yeah,
it doesn't
when video
matter.
games start doing well, they shift that money into Sony Pictures, where their movies are not doing so well, and it keeps them afloat.
Suck butter out of people's ads. Yeah.
3DO only failed because they were such a small company they couldn't support themselves when they failed. Exactly, they couldn't get more capital to keep going.
And no one bought one because it was $600.
It's too bad that part too. Yeah.
So let's next
but they were a good system.
Why are you looking very pensive?
Because we're at 40 minutes now already. Murdock's doing a horseshit job of moderating.
It's because I've hypnotized him previously. He will not moderate.
All right.
Tell him
so the PSN Pass Program.
Suck butter out of my ass, Steve.
That's not the Photoshop.
Say it.
PSN Pass Program required for Resistance 3. Say what?
Say it.
Say suck butter on my ass, Steve.
No.
Butter. I can't believe it's not butter.
That's yeah.
What is this
That's
about?
not a comic. All right. So required for Resistance 3 online modes is the PSN Pass Program. So if you buy it used, pay $10 and you get the privilege of playing on it playing online. Yes.
Oh,
this is what
the fuck?
Once again, this is the same story we've had like every other podcast for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. Yes, used games you're gonna have to pay more money for. Next.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a new way of trying to do it with a new game that comes out.
Well, they're pissed off because they don't get any money
from the used games, which has been the story for like 3 years now.
Don't put that on my burger, you fuck.
I threw a little bit of lettuce on his burger,
I know,
and
it's
he's
the same damn piece of lettuce.
It's green. It's green. How good
it's bad for your liver.
This is the same argument they've had. They believe they are entitled to some sort of money for the after-game market, which is bullshit. They made their money on the game when it sold, and that end statement. I don't buy that shit that they need to make money off of used game sales.
All right.
Well, why do
we can talk about the doctrine of first sale thing here.
Did you see that? He's moderating.
So next up,
he used time. You couldn't see it on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, but he did like this dismissive wave of the hand to like keep me from talking.
You're blathering
awesome.
now.
No, keep going.
Don't stop.
All right.
Don't buy any. Yeah, he's full of bullshit. You just keep going.
He's full of bullshit.
So suddenly it's Cirrus and Akinar here. It's like, oh, no, don't trust that guy. Trust this guy. Wow,
I always lies, but I always tell the truth.
Hi, I'm Murdock. I just made a missed reference on the podcast, and I'm a loser. So next up.
Oh my god.
You're a moderator. You own it.
All right.
You take it.
All right. So shrink your Connect space requirements through Nyko. So they have this thing now that you can shrink it by like 40%.
Don't trust that company.
Yeah, I know.
They make garbage.
Well, it's not like Mad Catz is actually doing
they're the
well.
Mad Catz that used to be. They're what Mad Catz used to be before they actually started making quality.
So Mad Catz makes good stuff now?
They make decent stuff now.
Yeah,
there's actually at least half of their
stuff.
Not
back in the day
cool.
when they used to be the gloob of the company.
Oh yeah,
but they're actually making a name for themselves, and they're getting licenses from big companies like Capcom, where they're making controllers and stuff. So they're actually becoming a name for themselves. But yeah, in the beginning they were just as shit a company as anybody else.
So Steve, do you have any interest in reducing your Connect space requirement?
Kind of a little bit, because like
it is a big space the damn thing needs.
Well, it doesn't need a big space. I mean,
you need the equivalent of Warehouse 13 to use your...
No, you don't need Warehouse.
Hyperbole much, Murdock?
Okay, what exactly is this going to do?
It's making so that it's the scanner space, the scan space for the Kinect that's required to make it usable is smaller. So you can play in a smaller space with the Kinect.
So why didn't Microsoft do this? Is what I'm wondering. How I can buy an attachment.
You know what would work for this is like
a mirror.
Like bifocals or something. You put like a little lens on the front of it.
Probably what it is.
It limits the space of which it needs to view. It actually is like glasses.
Wow,
I would be interested to know.
I never buy that.
I would be interested to know if it is indeed something like that, and if doing that it would probably work for reducing the size, but I wonder if it changes the rate of motion when you move.
Oh yeah.
The ratio of the distance to
because the distance.
Viewing.
Well, when you're moving like this much, if it's compressing it by 40%, it's going to move you 40% more.
Yeah, so
or less because you're in a smaller space.
It could make the game even more of a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Dance Central will be even more of a pain in the ass.
We'll have to see. I'd have to see how it works.
So we need to see what the physical peripheral is for, or if it's just some sort of program.
Steve will buy one, and then we'll
knowing Nyko, it'll probably be something that you put over the connector to have like some sort of cooling fan or beverage tray or something that's added onto it.
It's gonna look like Robbie the Robot with little eye flaps going.
Yeah.
So like number 5 is alive.
You want to add a butter reference to that too?
No.
Everything's better with butter.
So next up, Kinect-enabled Burnout Crash on XBLA and PSN, which would interest...
This could be very cool.
It's top-down only. It's not like the old Burnouts.
Oh, fuck that.
Well, the old Burnouts were top-down only.
They weren't top-down.
Yeah,
well,
Burnout 1 and 2
They were third perspective.
No,
third,
Burnout 1 and 2. Burnout 1
and 2,
first,
but 3 was actually
top-down.
the third-person perspective overhead behind the vehicle.
They
If
have
that's
like
considered top-down, I could live with that.
See, if you play Kinectimals, you would know that there's like a little go-kart section where you do the Kinect little go-kart. It doesn't work very well.
How do you
Why are
know
you
this?
playing Kinectimals?
Kinectimals is badass. It's a fun game.
He likes butter. Keep that in mind.
I like butter being sucked out of my ass.
And Connectables on a Saturday morning.
And on a Saturday
This is turning into like the Playboy spreaders.
Not necessarily.
Speaking about spread and butter,
Pasty's got interesting
he likes walks on the
planned.
beach and Connectables on Saturday.
Yeah.
Connectables just sounds like some sort of like frozen dinner that you would buy a child.
Connectimals is a cereal.
No, it's like a microwavable dinner you get at the zoo on a Saturday afternoon with the kids. We got Connectables.
Want to know what happened to the otter kids? Well,
here's your corn dog. Don't ask where it came from.
Oh, you want a hamburger? Come here, Chim Chim. Come here.
This exhibit is going away anyways. We got to make room for the elephants.
So there's bananas in my hamburger, but I don't know why. All right,
Suck a banana out of my ass.
No, what is
You're
this?
very obsessed with ass today.
I read.
What is this? You want to like put a river of butter in your ass and dump lobster in it? What exactly are you doing?
It's an oral fixation, I think.
It's an anal fixation.
I read.
Well, it's oral if you're coming from the behind it.
About like insults from other countries, and in Spain, suck butter out of my ass is actually an insult to people.
Well, it is Spain.
Well, that's true. Yeah, what's their GDP like? $800 a year.
Yeah, $12 or something like that.
Because they took a nap. It would be $850, but they had a nap.
Right.
So next up on Stereotype Theater.
So I decided to use it, and I'm going to try and get other people to start using it as well.
All right. So Space Invaders, the movie, which would interest, let's say Brian.
Who's directing it? Yui Bowl?
No, actually, I think they've got a real. Well,
Yui Bowl is a real.
Someone
director.
bought the rights to it, and I think Warner Brothers has it right now.
He exists in time and space. He has weight and takes up space. He is real.
He exists because he sucked
Sunshine
butter's
Insurance
ass.
Group Corporation in partnership with the online game operator Game Bar. Oh, that's not that.
No.
What?
What the fuck? That would have been more interesting if an insurance company had actually bought the game rights for Space Invaders. That would have been a better story.
Yeah, you're skipping
the invaders
notes,
blow up your car, and then you have to call the car insurance
and then the
guy.
State Farm, the president from 24 comes.
Yep.
Some people don't think that you actually get insurance from Space Invaders.
Yep.
So this will be a real interesting movie, I'm sure.
I
And
buy
there's
it
a giant gecko.
No, it will not.
I buy it if Flo is selling it.
Jeez.
If it was R-rated, I would, because then there's a possibility of a nude scene with Flo.
Ooh, Flo, no.
Yeah, that would be
Do you
badass.
guys have the hots for Flogressive?
I would bang her, yes, absolutely.
Is her last name Aggressive?
No. It's just Flo
She'd be
from
by
the
the time I was
Progressive
done with
commercial or Flogressive.
See, Flogressive would be a good name.
That's
Maybe.
probably her tweet name.
Maybe.
Name.
Oh, she tweets.
In the future, everyone will have a tweet name and a twat name.
Well, the name for the twat is actually the secret name. It's the tweet name.
That was pretty badass. Just how Steve would.
What are you, Lord Vader? Are you contemplating what?
So
there's no contemplation required.
failed me for the last
but
time.
you would violate flow in many ways that don't involve insurance, right?
Oh, she might be insured. That's probably better for her. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Is there butter involved?
Enough with the butter.
He brought it up. I didn't bring
Her
it
first
up.
name is Flo.
I had.
Well, practice safe sex and make sure you have your
What's the
sticks wrapped.
Skeksis?
So next up,
Something about the
Hey,
Skeksis.
butter and
Skeksis.
Butter and Crisco make everything easier.
you guys are idiots.
You said Skeksis, I heard.
All right, Star Wars Galaxy goes bye-bye 12/31/11, which would interest
No interest.
Nobody,
Move on.
because they're closing the damn thing because it sucked for years.
I know. I thought it had actually been closed down. So when I heard it was closed down, I was like, "Wow, this is
Wow,
news on
it's-
two different fronts."
It's like
One is still
Sony
around
Computer
somehow.
Entertainment trying to
They
cover up
fucked it
there.
so
What's up?
They did so. It was so awful.
It sounded like it might have been a fun game. At
Brian has
It
something
was a
very,
fun game at first.
Brian
I mean,
has-
other than the fact that there
Why
wasn't
are you
any
touching Murdock, Brian?
there wasn't any vehicle like Star vehicles or anything in the initial release, which kind of made it not Star Wars.
Yeah, it
but-
was like Star Wars on land.
Yeah.
Quoting Sega. Game over, yeah.
Is that what you want? That
Yeah,
was
that's
that why you were holding me just to
But
share
he was
that
just
with
touching
me?
you on the shoulder. It wasn't like a hold.
Oh
Yeah, this is a hold.
Yeah,
Oh.
like
Give it
see
up,
how
bitch.
my
he's
God!
gripping
You like retain so much body heat. What the hell?
He's got a better metabolism than you do.
Well, that's true.
The great thing about Star Trek Galaxies at the beginning is that it was really hard to be a Jedi.
That's what I heard.
When you
yeah,
saw
had
a
to, like,
Jedi,
do
you
things.
knew that somebody had really done something cool in order to be a Jedi.
And it was kind
And
of a
then they made
secret. You had to,
everybody
like,
could be a Jedi.
You like had to do X,
That's
Y, and
such
Z.
bullshit.
You had to,
learn
you had
how to
to,
get to that
you had to
point.
do the trees, the skill trees in a certain way, and you had to be a certain number of professions in a certain order, and
wow.
and then there
You had
was
to plan
there
that
was an
shit out like
element
some
of
sort of
chance, and then that
Star
and then,
Wars architect
and
and
that
shit.
character didn't get to be a Jedi. You had to start a new character as a Jedi
Oh,
after that,
Oh,
You were
that's
just a
kinda sad.
Padawan.
because you had to open the slot. You had to open a slot to have a Jedi character.
Huh. I guess that's one way to
I think it was a
control
little too complicated, honestly.
No, it needed to be complicated because the Jedi's were really powerful characters.
Well, yeah. Granted,
And they
you don't
were
want
old-
everybody
they
running
were-
around being
they
a
were
Jedi,
old.
but it just seemed like it was a little overcomplicated.
No, it was perfectly complicated. When you saw a Jedi, you knew that it was something special. You didn't have oh yeah, I guess a smuggler. Well, there's 5 million smugglers.
Yeah.
That's nothing special. But you see a guy walking around, he's got a lightsaber. It's like in the in the movies in between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. It was like, holy fuck, it's a Jedi.
Yeah, show some respect,
I mean,
motherfucker.
we don't hardly even know who Jedis are anymore because they aren't around anymore.
And then they had
Well,
the
that's because of the Sith.
Then they had the people who were actually playing the characters. So Darth Vader shows up, and he shows up in his Imperial shuttle and lands on Tatooine. And the guards come out, and the stormtroopers came out, and he starts out, and he's like, starts picking people up and force throwing them across the thing and everything, and
Would
being a
Darth
badass.
Vader seek out the Jedi characters?
Yeah.
Oh,
there
wow,
was bounty hunters
That's
that could go
fucking
after
awesome.
the Jedi
That
and stuff
is
like
cool.
that.
And then
Because
you
the bounty hunters could actually get missions to go after people.
Oh wow.
I mean, it was a very complex game, but it was interesting. And then
sounds
they're like,
really
oh, this is then Sony Computer Entertainment bought it. The Sony Online.
Man, that
Computer
has been
Entertainment.
the end of so many
SOE.
good companies.
Sony Online Entertainment
You're
bought
like
it.
the black hole of video
They killed a
games.
lot of interesting MMOs when Sony Online
Well, that's the
Entertainment
problem.
bought
Is
it.
they go out and buy something to kill the competition, and
They
they
killed-
literally don't do shit with it.
They
and it
killed
just-
Star Wars Galaxies. They killed Matrix Online.
Yeah, Matrix,
Oh.
they killed.
I think they
Something else they bought
killed.
too.
Meridian,
Meridian
Meridian's
59?
Still, on, isn't it?
Is it?
Meridian 59 is still they could still run.
What?
Like Ultima Online's still on, but it's
Yeah.
like, why would you play it?
Yeah.
So next up, a Chinese firm introduces virtual property insurance, which is what Steve was talking
What
about
are you
earlier.
Leave it to the Chinese to invent some sort of
Virtual
insurance for your
property
virtual gold.
Yeah,
What is
so
virtual property
so basically, you basically get money for loss or theft of virtual possessions, land, loot, digital currency.
It's virtual Geico, is what it is.
So you pay them real life money to replace stuff that doesn't exist.
Oh, if your
Yes.
whole life is playing an MMO, it might be worth it.
Yeah, I think there's probably something in that if you're spending a
would
lot of
never-
fucking money farming.
Well, see, all the gold farmers are Chinese, so it's kind of interesting that you mention that.
They're all
Well,
Chinese
that explains where it
prisoners.
came
Yeah,
from.
they're all political prisoners.
They're all Chinese prisoners, actually.
Oh,
No, they're-
Murdock,
they're-
you better edit this out later because otherwise we'll be.
No, that shit's true. They
No, that's-
actually
that's
they've
true.
Been
There's been,
busted.
like-
They've
I
had
know
actual
it's true.
penitentiaries busted for farming.
I know it's true, But like,
then the funny thing, in true, quasi-totalitarian style, they weren't busted for gold farming and making their prisoners pay without work without actually paying them anything. They were busted because they weren't paying off the right people with the stuff that they made.
Well, that brings me to my point.
They buy that extra bottle of tequila to pass the border.
Why would I really want to buy insurance from a Chinese company?
If you're Chinese.
Well, what if I'm not?
I don't think anybody in the U.S. is buying this.
Just think of it as paying off the right people.
I'm not the target audience for this scheme.
You're not the target audience for any of the MMO stuff.
Yeah, since you gave up Eve, you're pretty much fine.
You get laid.
Oh, well,
WoW is the only one that's targeted at normal people.
Well,
and getting laid is
normal,
kind of like an
WoW
MMO.
are pretty hot.
This is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Well, like I said,
listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Well, it doesn't sound. They don't make any fucking sense.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Check out that the ST51 Class A.
Coming out of your mouth.
Class A. See that thing right there? Doesn't that look like the old style Battlestar Galactica font?
It does. Oh my.
It does.
And you've got like a little HAL 9000 thing in there too.
Yeah, Lorne Green designed this microphone.
I just noticed that now.
So,
Murdock.
Hey, can we move on to number 12? We're almost done with this bitch.
Yes.
No.
No, Mike.
Number 19 or whatever.
Mike wants to talk about his sex life.
Well, it's footnote number 12. He needs to make the footnotes in letters and then the news and numbers.
Yeah, I've noticed
like
that's
normal
confusing
people.
too.
So the last bit of news is Operation Rainfall, which is basically a fan campaign made to persuade Nintendo to actually release RPGs in this country.
Well,
which may or may not interest people, but it's actually working.
It's working? That's more interesting than the fact...
Nintendo's like, maybe we should pay attention to these guys.
Didn't they already try this, and then Nintendo looked at them and said, oh, no, it's not worth it, because not enough people would buy it?
No, because they released a news bit today that said someone internal in Nintendo's like, yeah, they just finished the English localization for these games.
But like
so
Dragon
we
Quest.
would pay no money to release it.
Well, who knows? But
Nintendo is so fucking stupid, they'll never do it.
Well, it's if they pick a game where they've already made the money that they needed to off the game in Japan, that's the key market.
Yeah, but they don't
make
money in
something where they
Japan.
can drop like a $20 game out here and test market it and see if people actually enjoy it.
You know what would make this work a lot better for Nintendo? If they had an online distribution venue.
Yeah, no shit. Fucking guys.
Well, I didn't say marketing was their
10
strong
years ago,
point.
they're as bad as Capcom.
It's
they're not that bad.
They're waking up
Capcom
thinking
got
it's
their shit together.
2001. No, they didn't.
They did eventually.
It's just,
it's not totally together, but at least it's visible.
The costs for translating these games for English is minimal compared to the cost of printing and distributing and putting out to retail. If they had an online distribution network, they could supply them for download. And then they wouldn't have to pay for distribution and packaging and printing and any of that stuff.
It's like a Wii Steam.
Anything.
No, do they have hard drives?
This is what I'm saying.
Oh, so
if they weren't stuck in 2000, they could actually distribute these games.
They need to get their head out of their ass and make it so that you can put a bigger SD card in there, or put a huge flash drive just plugged onto the back of the.
Just put in a hard drive. They're so cheap now.
Yeah.
There's a problem. Is they won't do that as
it
would have to be an extended hard drive, an external.
Well, they can't do it with the Wii
USB.
now. They got to do it with the Wii Me or the Wii U or the Wii shit or whatever the fuck.
There is no new Wii.
The Wii Butter.
The Wii U is just a controller, so it's not.
The Wii U is just a controller. Are you fucking serious?
It is a new base unit, but it doesn't have a hard drive built into it still, from what I read. So
I read that they actually have broke the barrier into HD.
Yeah, they'll do.
Well, they wanted to make sure that this HD thing was going to pan out before
Yeah, I can see why they.
Well, they might want to wait another decade before they pile in on that trend.
Yeah.
They are a minimum 5 years behind every other console out there because they're so afraid of dedicating themselves to something.
And they want to price undercut everybody every time.
Yeah, and 5 years later, it's cheap to do what you did 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You can get an HD chipset for $5 now, so
So, anything else?
Get rid of that smoking habit of yours there.
I know. Stop smoking so much reefer before the podcast.
Reefer. By the way, I've been playing
You've been
Wacky
playing
Tobacco.
LA Noire. LA Noire.
You told me you've solved it.
It's pretty good.
Did you try the bad cop route?
Isn't
there's no bad cop
Is there
route.
a bad cop route?
I heard there's a way to become a bad cop.
No.
Like they posted on G4 TV today.
Not really.
Yeah, there's a way you just choose the bad cop route.
Yeah, isn't it just like it's not really a sandbox game? It's more like a run around the city and talk to people game.
Well, you have to solve cases, and there's actual action stuff, and you can wander off the path and actually do sandboxy type stuff, but it's not like GTA where you're, teabagging everyone or whatever people do in GTA or have dates or whatever.
GTA. It never really.
Apparently, you're doing it wrong.
I guess so. Yeah, I missed that achievement. Teabag, ding.
Teabag a drug dealer.
Yeah.
But
Teabag it's in local.
I played a lot more Saints Row than GTA.
You gonna pick up Saints Row the Third?
Probably.
I hear that's actually turning out to be like a better type of game than what GT4 was.
Yeah,
it's what GT4 should be.
Well, GT4 is a dating sim. Is
But
basically
you know
what
what
it
it
is.
was? Every time you turn around, ding, ding, Nyko wants to
No,
talk
it
to
wasn't
you.
even that. It wasn't even a dating sim. It was just that fucking cell phone sim.
So stupid. I'm like...
That's a problem with GTA. It's like going, okay, you've got kind of a cool engine here, and it's a pretty cool city you've created, and this isn't a fun game at all.
Yeah, and you could go watch TV as Nyko. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's all these mundane things that you can do.
Shenmue.
Yeah.
It's like Shenmue without the fun of Shenmue.
And
Yeah,
Shenmue
it's like,
wasn't
what?
fun.
Yeah, I know. It's like, come on.
It's like...
Come on, they had a Dreamcast. You could go
They need
play.
There
GTA
wasn't a
5 needs to be
forklift.
able to play Shenmue in it. It's more meta
like,
than meta.
Going to the strip club's no fun as Nyko. It's more fun as me.
Actually, it was more fun in Saints Row.
Saints Row was a badass game. It was way better. Just like Prototype is a way better.
I
game
keep hearing that's a
than
good game to play.
Infamous.
Portal 2 is a lot of fun too. Multiplayer.
Yeah,
That game's hilarious.
Don't care for Portal.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I
good
don't care
times.
about
It's a
Portal.
puzzle thing, man.
Actually, Portal, the game as a concept, is interesting. The fan base I really hate.
Yeah.
I don't care about the fans. I just thought Portal 2 was cool because you
what
got
are you
two
sharing an
people
apartment
together.
with the fans? What do you care what the fans are like?
They're annoying.
They annoy me.
Get over it.
No.
Who cares
game
about the
doesn't seem very
fans? Are they
interesting.
affecting your gameplay? No.
Yes.
Fuck them. No.
But I
I just
heard-
don't like.
you
I'm just
gotta
not a big fan of
watch-
puzzle games.
Yeah, neither am I. It's like a
I
puzzle
fucking
game
love
that
puzzle games.
I think the mechanisms that they've pioneered for that puzzle game are really interesting, but
Wasn't just an
actually
experiment.
playing it.
So let me ask: is Saints Row 2 worth playing?
Well, for the $10 it probably costs now, yeah.
Yes, it is fun, and you can make your character look, and you can make him look like yourself.
I don't.
Why
care
would I
for
want that?
soundlock games,
I do.
sandbox
It's
games.
badass. I love watching me.
It
don't
depends
have
on the
time
game.
for 'em.
Well, like Fallout's a sandbox game.
It is, but it
is
isn't.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's semi-is.
I mean,
But
because your
it doesn't have
reputation
to be.
matters with different factions, and what you're going to do changes how the whole quote unquote universe happens. I mean, it's not like GTA, but it's it's not like Bard's Tale either, where everything is the same around you no matter what you do.
Yeah,
the world changes depending on what you do.
Yeah. I suppose I never really thought of it that way.
I like just stockpiling guns.
Well, that's what you do in real life. What about the game?
You need to join militia.
We weren't talking about real life. Oh,
The thing in-
well, I
the
like
thing in-
stockpiling guns.
You need the
too.
new militia sandbox game.
The thing in Vegas that was weird is that you
It's
get such
called
powerful
Area
guns
Nation.
right away.
Oh yeah,
It's like it's not like the first one where you literally came out of the vault with a BB gun.
yeah. Did
but-
they finally patch the?
I haven't had a bug with anything at all
I
in
haven't had that many problems.
in New Vegas at all.
The new guns are a little buggy, but I think they
I haven't
patched
seen
those too.
I've been playing like 12 hours, and I haven't seen a single
Like the
bug.
repeater rifle is so badass. But
The cowboy repeater?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a pretty cool game. Pretty cool weapon.
So
that's my favorite.
It's not as good as the laser rifle though, because the laser rifle is my favorite one.
Why?
Because I like getting the criticals and watching people disintegrate.
Huh. I like
Plus, it does a lot of damage on ghouls. You gonna moderate and end this thing, or what?
Well, I didn't want to be impolite and interrupt you.
It's your podcast.
Oh. So anything else you want to add before we wrap this thing up? Any butter recipes
It's like
or anything else you
Donahue.
want to add?
No, not really.
It's like the
Butter.
McLaughlin hour, except
Butter
without the
McLaughlin?
yeah,
I can't believe it's not butter.
except
Yeah.
without John McLaughlin.
The McLaughlin group without McLaughlin.
Yeah,
It's
It's like Wall
it's
Street
like
Week without
Hannity
Louis
Cohn.
Rukeyser.
yeah. It's just run away. The trains run away on the tracks, and there's nobody to stop it.
I'm gonna attempt to rap with my beard.
That's more about.
That's some great sound effects.
not really
there,
a-
Lou.
I wonder if I
Rap.
could do that too.
That's no. So,
Steve has more of a sandpaper. Like
Well, what's the grain of your beard?
I don't know. It's like the higher. Is the higher
like a 200 grit? Yeah.
Is the higher means it's
the
finer?
A harder grit.
Is that how they rate beards, by grit?
Or it's like a finer grit. Yeah, the lower number is the higher grit.
I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio. We will return next time with our bi-weekly cheese podcast that Steve will be hosting.
I may or may not be back, depending on...
I feel like I'm in the Appalachians, like rubbing on one of those boards.
You should never feel
these are the best. These are the best beard effects that money can buy, folks.
You paying us?
Beard Foley.
Yeah, Beard Foley. He's the new character in the new Beverly Hills Cop.
I want my money.
He's in the Beverly Hills. No, he's the Beverly Hills.
Thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.